Well, today we're talking to Danial Mason, who's the author of this incredible book, Taken into Custody. Well, actually, it's not called that. It's called Custody, Blood is Thicker Than Water. It's a really amazing book. It's very, very comprehensive. It's almost encyclopedic in its nature, but it details an amazing case that was fought in the court in New Zealand in 1976, where a father actually won the right to be a father to his child. That is most extraordinary. Tell us about it, Danial.
Oh, hi, Warwick. Yes, it is a very extraordinary story. Look, the whole episode of the case went on for the boy was 3.5, and at that time, the law stated that a child under 5 automatically goes with the mother. So then I decided this is not good enough. I'll fight this, and it went through 2 court cases. And I won't tell you the end of the story because we'll spoil it. But it's all the drama what took place prior to it, and at the end, how the even the legal system, the lawyers over there would not take it on, and that was another big issue.
So you couldn't even find a lawyer to actually help fight your case, even though you were prepared to pay the money, correct?
Yep, I went to many. I spent nearly a whole week trying to find a lawyer to represent me. They all told me that you're wasting my time, wasting their time actually, they said. My time, their money. They said the best case scenario you will get is possibly you might even get access rights. And I said that's not good enough.
And you didn't take no for an answer, did you?
Nope, no way. So what happened next was this extraordinary experience. I went to the Presbyterian Church in Auckland, and for a few weeks I did not go because of the emotion I was going through and having this up and coming court case at the Majesty court in Auckland for interim custody. Now, I had a premonition the night before, and it just come over me, and I had to go to church the next day. I did, and there was a guest speaker there, and he spoke about the welfare system, single mothers. He spoke on all issues like that. And after the service, I did meet him. And then he introduced me to a lady lawyer. And it was through her that changed everything. It was like a miracle. Look, I can't explain it, but that's what did happen. And this lawyer, between her and me, we took on we challenged the whole court.
And you actually ended up with a change in legislation, or certainly government policy, after your court case. We still won't tell exactly what happened, but it was such a dramatic situation. The final analysis was so dramatic that you were able to have a change in government policy, correct?
Yes, the judge made a precedent and made a lot of changes. And one of them was that that I had to put it this way. I had to go on the single mother's pension.
And we won't say any more than that, but this man had to go on a single mother's pension. But if you want to read the book, you have to buy it. Where can they get the book? They can get the book through, I think, Amazon and so on.
Amazon, Angus and Roberts, but the best deal, what they can do is buy it directly through our website. And they'll get delivery in 4 to 5 working days. And we've got a special deal where they can buy it, and it's post-free anywhere in Australia.
Wow, that's pretty good. and that's the website is
.com.
www.danielmasoncustody.com.au.
Yes, that's right. Yes. No, just straight.com.
Just straight.com. Okay, I'll go that again. Daniel, and it's spelt with an A, not an E. Daniel,
Yeah.
Danial, danielmasoncustody.com. So go to that website, and it'll be below here in the actual information here, and in the associated information, and you can order your very own copy of this amazing book, and it will inspire you and encourage you as a single dad to know that sometimes good things happen to single dads.
Yes.
It's funny, Daniel, on the the lead up to this call, I got a phone call a few days ago from a young dad with a 4 and an 8 year old, and he had final orders. He'd spent hundreds of thousands of dollars to get final orders, which were incredible sharing between the two mothers, because he had one child to one mother who's 4 years of age, one child to another mother 8 years of age, and he had incredible sharing with those two children. But the mothers unilaterally disobeyed the orders. He couldn't see his children anymore. He then went back. They went back to court. He spent $300,000, Daniel, and he lost the case. And he rang me up, basically absolutely depressed, saying, "Warwick, what is a man to do? What can I do? I'm a good dad. I'm a good man. I'm not perfect, but I love my kids. I'm just brokenhearted because I can't see my children." These two mothers had concocted all sorts of lies and just horrific stories about him. Where have I heard that before, Daniel?
That's widespread. It's widespread. It's amazing. Look, it's him, me, we're not isolated cases. There's just hundreds of them out there, and I even know a nephew who went through similar things, and the way the court system is still today. Personally, I don't think I've hardly seen any changes in the last so many years, and I believe you haven't either, Warwick.
Well, look, we were involved in some positive changes in 2006. We saw, a positive move in the right direction with the Shared Parental Responsibility Acts that John Howard brought in. It was across the board, bipartisan support. They held a conscience vote, and it was passed. And we worked together with Lone Fathers Association, Family Law Council. We worked hard with them. We worked with all the different men's groups and father groups across Australia. We produced a 12-point plan, which is on the public record. And united, we saw quite a victory. It was a better victory than I thought it was. I was still disappointed with the legislation, but the legislation forced the judges to actually be a little bit more gracious towards single dads. Unfortunately, our Prime Minister, Julia Gillard, in 2011, reversed the situation where you could lie in court and get away with it, took the penalty away for perjury, which is lying in court, and then since then there's been a flood of absolute, totally untrue accusations come on dads. So when every dad goes to court, he's hit with possibly dozens of false accusations, and the lawyers are telling them the mothers to say these things. And it's got to the stage where even judges are complaining about the false accusations. So this is not just Warwick Marsh, this is not Danial Mason, but judges are saying it's just horrific what men are going through today. Correct?
Correct. In my case, I was branded before the court case that I was a potential murderer. I was abusive to my wife, and and the family got behind it. That's why it's blood is thicker than water, because the family concocted all these stories and went to court and they lied, and was proven by the judge because he even named them.
But they were found out, weren't they? Thank God.
They were found out. I was lucky. I had a very good judge. I found out that he was a Catholic judge. He didn't like mothers who walk out on their children. That was another part of it. But the other issue is too what fathers are facing is the actual welfare system. Now, when my dad died, and I was 7, and what happened was that because there was 13 children in the family, and I was the second youngest, all the young children, the welfare came around and tried to take us away, like the stolen generation, they claim. My mother chased them out of the street, and then the Baptist church in Bendigo came to the rescue, and they took all the young children in. So they defied the welfare system, and Mum was allowed to keep us all. Now they were trying to make us wards of the state, so that's an issue you got. Now in New Zealand, when I went from my court case, they took all the my wife's side of it, and her family didn't even look at any of my witnesses or anything. It was all one-sided, very biased. And this is the issue what fathers are facing. It's the system out there.
It's actually broken and it's corrupt. You know, I've been happily married now for 47 years. No intent on changing that at all. 5 children, 9 grandchildren.
Really?
So I've got no axe to grind in this, but I can tell you now, I 100% agree with you, Daniel. And again, I've talked to 1,000 fathers, like the father that rang me up just 2 days ago, told me with a 4-year-old and the 8-year-old, he could not see, he's only can see one child, one of these, his dear children, he can only see for 2 hours every 2 weeks, and the other one only can see for 2 hours every month. And this is a father that's just broken-hearted, but there's thousands, if not tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of fathers just like that across this nation now, who've been robbed of their children. Because I've talked to almost 1,000 fathers, must be 900, 800, 900 fathers individually over the last 20 years as the CEO, founder of Dads for Kids with my wife, Alison Marsh, and we've both heard the same story after, maybe some slight changes, some slight adjustments, but it's the same story comes through all the time, and it's a bias in the family law system. I remember talking to a guy that was working at a high level trying to, lobby for fairness and justice. And he met with the then Prime Minister, John Howard, and John Howard said, "What's exactly wrong?" And he said, well, the laws theoretically are correct and should give justice to both fathers and mothers and to the children. But it's the bias that's inherent right through the whole system, right through the family law court, right through the counsellors, right through the legal profession, judges, welfare officers, counsellors, correct?
Correct. Yes, it is. It's a whole chain of it. It really is. It starts from the bottom, if you will, to the top, or the top to the bottom. And look, when I was in New Zealand, I did go to the Families Need Fathers group. The stories, what the fathers told me, were horrific. A lot of them weren't allowed to see their children at all. They were good people. I'm talking about, some of them were even lawyers. There was accountants, there was bank managers, teachers, all good people, and they all said the same story. Their wives or the mothers of the children went to court and told the most horrific lies about them and got their family to do it as well, and of course they lost the case, and the court took their word for it. In my case, what I did was everything what they coughed up, we turned around and challenged everything. And that lawyer, what I had, was absolutely brilliant. She was fantastic. And that's a story in itself.
100%, 100%. And look, I think people should read this book for themselves and hear this great story. And it's the sort of book you could pass on to your friends. And where can you get it again, Daniel?
Well, through our website, it probably would be the best way, because that way we're donating to your group, Dads for Kids. We're donating 10% of the proceeds of that book of the profit goes to Dads for Kids group. So it's under our website, www.danialmasoncustody.com. go to that website, or they can do it at Angus and Robertson. That's the other bookstore. I've got it now, and there's others online. If you Google the name, it just comes up dozens of different responses to it.
Yeah. So that's Danial Mason with an A, not with an E. Danial
Yes.
Mason, Mason, custody. So it's one word, danielmasoncustody.com.
That's it.
And you can get your own copy of this great book. It's just a great pleasure to talk to you, Daniel. Thank you for your time
and thank
all
you
the
for
best with
having
the
me.
book.
Yeah, thank you, Warwick, for having me, and all the best. And yeah, and your group is just fantastic, and I'll support it every way I possibly can.
And look, thanks for this incredible donation. We didn't ask. It's very kind of you to want to help us. We certainly need all the help we can get. We're non-for-profit. We don't want government funding because we'll have to. It means we won't be able to tell the truth. So we prefer to sort of keep it true, keep it honest. But again,
thank you. TV ads are beautiful. Your TV ads are just absolutely fantastic, and I recommend anyone to see them.
Thank you so much. All the best.
Okay, all the best. Thank you, Warwick, for the interview. Bye.